Hey, what's up YouTube? Here's another Wi-Fi battle that I had with a guy off the Smogon Wi-Fi Battle Finder. And I think this one was a much better battle than my first battle I uploaded. So, okay, let's get started. So, this battle, I think, again, I lead off with my Caracosta, the special attacking one. And I go for the Hydro Pump and I miss, which was really disappointing because he led off with a Sandshrew, and I probably could have O-coded it. But he got a Sandstorm up, it didn't really bother me. Then he Swords Dance, which was kind of strange. So I just ended up getting my rocks up. I didn't want to miss another Hydro Pump. And then here he EQs me, but once again I have the sturdy ability, so Caracosta will be able to hit the Hydro Pump this time and OHKO it like I originally planned to. And it would have been nice to OHKO the first turn, but the Sandstorm didn't play a real big effect because I do have Caracosta, who is a half rock type, I guess. So he doesn't take damage from it. So here he sends in his Herdier, and I believe he gets some kind of boost from Sandstorm, but I wasn't really worried about it because I have many Pokemon to deal with it, and here I just let my Caracosta die. Because it did its job. It got rocks up and it KO'd a defensive wall. Okay, so I send out my Rampardos, same set. I go for the Head Smash here just to OHKO it, and he switches into Bronzor, which takes the Head Smash really well. Just obviously a defensive one, and then the Sandstorm goes away. So that's actually why I brought out my Rampardos, because it is rock type and doesn't take any effect from it. So I switch into my Kangaskhan, knowing I have Drain Punch and thinking that this thing is pure steel, but because I thought I know it becomes a half psychic when it becomes a Bronzong, but I didn't know it was half psychic at this stage. So kind of disappointed there. He does get a Toxic off of my Kangaskhan, which is pretty disappointing, but it didn't seem like this thing was a big threat other than it had a Reflect and Light Screen, as we'll see later on in the battle. So for some reason I switched into my Gardevoir thinking I could get the Toxic up, but then I realized it was Steel, a Steel type. And then luckily he switches out into Monferno, which I'm not really afraid of because I know the special attacking sets, and this is my special defensive wall. So here I believe I just go for the Toxic to hit whatever he switches into, and luckily I get the Herdier instead of the Bronzor. But this Herdier is a physical attacker, and Gardevoir cannot take physical hits at all. So I quickly switch out of there and into my defensive wall, Ramen. And he takes his Crunch amazingly. I believe he only did like 40 damage there, which is why I love this thing. I never want to take it off my team. So it goes back into Bronzor, and I'm not really worried about it. I just hit it, use knockoff to knock off whatever I can, and luckily I do get his Violet off, which make him much easier to deal with later in the battle. And then here I set up a sub. He just sets up Light Screens. I'm not too worried. I use a Giga Drain just to see how much damage I'll do with Light Screen up. And it doesn't do a surprising amount of damage, a very high amount of damage. And he does get Reflect and Light Screen up. But he doesn't have like, I believe it's called like Magic Clay or whatever that extends it, so I'm not too worried. He goes back into Monferno, and this is a big threat to my Ramen, but knowing I'm behind a sub, I just decided to go for the Giga Drain anyway, see what he does, and he does go for the Fire Blast. So yeah, I have to switch out of here, and I believe I switch into my Gardevoir because I cannot take any special hits. So I knock off its Eviolite, which would make it really easy to kill later because these things are super fragile, but with a Violet it adds a little bulk. So no, actually I did switch into my Rampardos. I believe I go for a Zen Headbutt. No, yeah, I went for a Zen Headbutt, but with Nasty Plot and Vacuum Wave, considering how fragile Rampardos is, he easily goes down. It's quite disappointing because these last two battles I haven't got to use Rampardos much because he died in my first battle, and here he died again to a Vacuum Wave. So now back into my Gardevoir because as you'll see, this Fire Blast, even with a Nasty Plot, doesn't do a huge amount of damage. It's definitely a 2-hit KO, but I get my Toxic off. And I believe here I Protect to try to get a couple more lefties healing, but I believe it has no effect on the end effect because he doesn't hit his next Fire Blast, and it manages to OHKO me, or 2-hit KO. My bad. So with Gardevoir gone, I switch into my Kangaroo, and after his Violet is off, and considering my Fake Out is pretty strong on this thing, I do manage to get rid of it, which is great because it was actually quite a threat with Nasty Plot up. So now he goes back into his Herdier, which is toxic and low on HP. It doesn't really worry me though. Once again, I have my Tangela to tank it, and I believe this, yeah, he hits me with a reversal here. It does really low damage. And I believe I finish it off. No, he switches out. He switches out back into his Bronze Ore, which keeps taking this residual damage from my Stealth Rock damage. And after a Giga Drain with his Eviolite knocked off, I am able to take him out, thankfully. So this battle is looking good in my favor. And then he switches out into his Yanma, which I know will take a huge amount of damage from Stealth Rocks, considering it's 4 times weak to it. But I was really fearing the Bug Buzz, so I go into my Kangaroo here. And he actually goes for the Protect, but that's fine. Kangaroo will get the Fake out. And actually I see why he went for the Protect, to get his speed boost up. Then he goes for another one to get a double speed boost, which doesn't really make sense to me, because he already outspeeds my whole team right now. And I believe here, now I can't use my Fake out because it's not my first turn, so I have to take the Air Slash, and hopefully, and I actually do survive it pretty well. And one Body Slam will easily take out this thing. Silk Scarf, Max HP, Adamant, and Kangaskhan really is a huge part of my team. He switches into his Prinplup now, which I forgot he had, but I don't see these things too much. I wasn't really afraid of it, and I do end up getting the Parahax, making it that much easier to deal with. Here he just finishes me off with the Surf, which is no big deal because I do have Tangela to deal with him. So here I switch into my Tangela, go for the Giga Drain, and I believe he has only one Pokemon left after this move. And yeah. So he switches back into his Herdier, which is very low on HP, and I believe Tangela once again finishes off the battle for me. I believe he did it in the last episode as well. This is not a fully defensive Tangela. It does have some EVs and special attack, which would make it really nice and a good addition to my team. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. I tried to get a better quality one, like I didn't just battle and then choose that battle. I had a couple battles before I had one that was decent. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe.